Picture this. September 2nd, 1506. An 18-year-old kid wakes up to soldiers surrounding his house and tries to kill himself before they can crown him king. That kid is Jungjong, the 11th king of Joseon, the Korean dynasty from 1392 to 1910. He'd reigned for 38 years. Korean textbooks file him under one word: weak, manipulated. The puppet king. Here's the thing, 38 years later, he's the only person in that room still breathing. His wife? Gone in 7 days. His best reformer? Dead by his own order in one night. His favorite concubine? Poisoned for treason. So what was he really? The coward or the last man standing? Lock that in, we're about to find out. So back up, why is this kid trying to kill himself in his own bedroom? Picture this, September 2nd, 1506. Pre-dawn in Hanyang, the city that's now Seoul. An 18-year-old prince named Yi Yok, Grand Prince Joseon, the king's half-brother, wakes up to soldiers outside his gate. Hundreds of them, torches, horses. His house is surrounded. He doesn't think coronation. He thinks his older brother finally sent the assassins. That fear wasn't paranoid. His older brother was Yeon-sang-gun, the tyrant king who'd been killing scholars for the previous 12 years. By 1506, being related to that king wasn't a privilege. It was a countdown. So Joseon reaches for a knife. He's going to do it himself before they can make a show of it. And then his wife stops him. Picture this, Lady Sin, 1 year older than him, married to him since they were both kids, 13 and 12. Grabs his arm and says, "Wait. Look at the horses. If the horse heads are pointed at our gate, they're here to kill us. If the horse tails are pointed at our gate, they're here to protect us. Send a servant, just look." The servant runs out, comes back. The horses are facing the other way. And then she said it, "They're not here for your head. They're here for your crown." Lock that in. The first time this kid's life gets saved, it isn't by him, it's by the wife he's about to lose. Because here's what those soldiers were actually doing. 3 generals, Pak Won-jong, Seong Hui-an, Yu Sun-jong, had just pulled off a coup. Yeon-sang-gun was finished. Within hours he'd be demoted to Prince Yeon-san and shipped to Ganghwa Island, a scrap of land off the coast. 2 months later he'd be dead at 31, officially of illness. Officially. And the throne? The throne goes to the kid still trembling under his blanket. Now here's where it gets crazy. When the founders of Joseon enrolled their merit subjects more than 100 years earlier, the list ran about 40 names. Jinsong's coup? 117. Picture being 18, with 0 crown prince training, and 117 co-CEOs you didn't hire, every one of them writing your job description that morning. He looked harmless. He was supposed to be harmless. The men who put him there made sure of it. So how does a kid like that lose his wife in 7 days? Watch what he didn't do. Her name is Lady Sin, the girl who stopped him from stabbing himself under that blanket. Married to him since they were 13 and 12. By every definition, his ride or die. Day 7 of the new reign. The Restoration merit subjects, those 117 men who put him on the throne, walk into the room with a problem. Lady Sin's father is Sin Soo-gun. He was left state councillor under Yeon-sang-gun, basically the deputy prime minister, and his sister was Yeon-sang-gun's queen. So he's the brother-in-law of the tyrant they just deposed. And the coup faction already killed him on the way in. Lock that in. They killed her dad. Now they're standing in front of the new king, saying the daughter of a traitor cannot wear the crown. She'll grow up, she'll remember, she'll come back for us. The king is 18. He has nothing. He says one line. Quote, "She is my wife from poverty. What can I do?" He's basically shrugging. "We grew up together. I've got nothing. What do you want from me?" 7 days as queen. the shortest queenship in the entire 518-year history of Joseon, locked in by a husband who couldn't even walk her to the gate. Picture this. She climbs Inwangsan, the mountain right behind the palace. She finds a flat boulder facing the upper floor of Gyeonghoeru Pavilion, the spot where she knows he sometimes stands. She pulls off her red skirt and lays it across the rock, so he can see it, so he knows she's still there. That rock is still on Inwangsan today. Hikers walk past it. They call it Chimabawi, Skirt Rock. She lived 50 more years as the deposed queen, childless, dead in 1557 at 71, still nobody's wife on paper. It took until 1739 for a different king to finally write her name back in as Queen Jungjong. 38 years on the throne. He never said her name out loud again. Okay, he was 18. He was scared. He couldn't save his wife. Fine, so what does this scared kid do 13 years later when he finally has his own guy in power? Watch this. 1515. The king finds his guy, Gwang-jo, 33 years old, a brilliant Confucian scholar, a true believer who walks into court and says the system is rotten from the top. The king loves him, promotes him fast. In about 3 years, Joe jumps from junior third rank to senior third rank, basically a top cabinet advisor, head of the office that audits the king's own government. That kind of jump didn't happen. The king made it happen. And then Joe turns around and aims at the people the king actually wants gone. Remember those 117 men who put Jungjong on the throne? Joe opens the merit list and starts crossing out names. 76 of the 117. Almost 2/3 of the Founders Club fired in one stroke. He calls it stripping the false merits. The board panics. Picture this. Somebody paints 4 characters on a mulberry leaf in honey. Bugs eat the honey. The leaf shows up at court reading, "Joe will be king." Heaven's warning, supposedly. Sure. November 15, 1519, middle of the night. The cabinet hasn't shown up to work yet. The king is alone in his chamber with a candle and a poison decree. And then he did it. He signed it himself. By dawn, it was done. Joe was dragged off to a village in the south. 1 month later, December 20th, they handed him the cup. He was 37. Quote, "I loved my king as I loved my father. I worried for my country as I worried for my own home." Last words of the man Jungjong had personally pulled out of obscurity and turned into a weapon. He drank, and he died. Now wait, who else benefited from getting rid of those 117 merit men? The same king who told everyone he had no power over them. The reformer trying to destroy them just got dropped, by the man who hired him to do it. In one night, alone, so the cabinet couldn't object in the morning. Okay, so maybe the reformer was just collateral. Bad luck, right? Then watch what happens to the woman he actually loved. Now meet the woman he actually loved, Lady Park Gyeongbin. She walked into the palace in 1506, the same year he took the throne. 4 new concubines arrived that year. She was the favorite. Not close, not tied. The favorite. In 1509, she gave him his first son, Prince Boxyong. His first son. Lock that in. For 21 years, she was the woman he kept coming back to. And then, one morning, everything changed. Picture this. Spring 1527. The Crown Prince's birthday. A nursery in the East Palace. A servant walks in and finds a dead rat hung outside the prince's bedroom. Its legs cut off. Its eyes, ears and mouth burned black. A paper charm with the prince's birth date tied to its tail. A curse aimed at a 13-year-old boy. Here's where it gets dark. Kim Allo, a royal in-law and the most dangerous man at court, points one finger. Lady Park, the favourite, her son, stripped of rank, exiled, and in 1533, 6 years after the rat, Jungjong signs the poison order. His favorite woman, his own son, both 1 week apart. Years later, the truth slipped out. The real culprit was probably Kim Alo's own son. Jungjong knew. Jungjong signed anyway. So, 1 wife in 7 days, 1 reformer in 1 night, 1 favorite and her son. What does that look like when you put it on a list? So put it on a list. Read the room. Lady Sin, the wife from when he was 12, deposed in 7 days, then 50 years a deposed queen, dead in 1557 at 71, no children, never spoke to him again. Pak Won-jong, Seong Hui-an, Yu Sun-jong, the 3 generals who put him on the throne, all dead within 7 years of putting him there. He buried every one of them. Gwang-jo, his own reformer, poison, 1519. Lady Park Gyong-bin, the favorite, and Prince Bok-seong, his own first son, both poisoned, 1533. Of those 117 merit men who supposedly owned him, 76 stripped of their titles by his quiet little reformer. Gone. Kim Alo, the man who framed Lady Park, the man who tried to depose Queen Munjong, 1537. The king signed his poison cup too. Queen Munjong outlived him. She's the only one. But she wasn't the king. He was. November 15th, 1444. He died in his own bed, 56 years old. 38 years on a throne nobody trained him for. Natural causes. He was the puppet king, the weak one, the one who couldn't save anybody. Everyone in that room got buried. He died in his own bed at 56. Picture this one more time. The 18-year-old kid trembling under his blanket in 1506. He wasn't trembling because he was scared of the throne. He was trembling because he already knew what people who sit on it have to do. Lock that in.